Okay, we're in this book, Automotive Technology. Introduction. Early vehicles are very basic machines with machines. Oh, shoot. Okay. Early vehicles were very basic machines with engines that were started by manually operating a crank handle. The maintenance requirements of these early vehicles were vastly different from the highly technical requirements of modern vehicles. As vehicle technology has developed over time, the maintenance requirements have changed. Although the basic system on the early vehicles and today's vehicles are the same: ignition, coolant, engine, drivetrain, suspension, and lubrication. The systems on modern vehicles are much more sophisticated and reliable. Modern vehicles travel much greater distance between maintenance appointments than their predecessors. For example, it is not usual for a vehicle manufacturer to require maintenance at 7,500 to 10,000 mile, 12,000 to 16,000 km intervals, and there is a push to extend maintenance intervals even further as new oils are being developed. In fact, some manufacturers are predicting maintenance intervals of 25,000 miles, 40,000 km in the near future. In comparison, some earlier vehicles require maintenance every 1,000 miles, 1,600 km. Technician tip: service or maintenance intervals will also be influenced by the severity of operating conditions. The more severe the conditions, the more frequent the required maintenance. Most service information gives both a normal duty and a severe duty maintenance schedule. A brief history of the automobile. In the late 1800s, several engineers were working on the concept and design of the automobile. Carl Benz is generally acknowledged to have invented the modern automobile around 1885, figure 1:1. In those early days, the concept of the automobile continued to develop with many inventors producing various models. The early version of the automobile were little more than horse carriage converted into automobiles with engines. These early automobiles tended to be unreliable and expensive and were considered a novelty that only the wealthy could afford. You are the automotive technician. A customer brings her 2012 VZ Dodge minivan to the dealership for its 15,000 mile oil change. After pulling the vehicle into the bay, you set the vehicle safely on the hydraulic hoist. Next, you reference the computer to check the service history and any technical service bulletins, TSBS, or recalls for the vehicle. All previous service has been performed according to the schedule and there are no TSBS or recalls for the vehicle. You then verify the manufacturer's scheduled maintenance recommendations for the mileage on the vehicle and find that the tires also need to be rotated and the air filter inspected. After you complete the tire rotation, you use the hydraulic hoist to raise the vehicle and then proceed to perform the oil and filter change. First, you drain and dispose of the old oil, remove and replace the filter, and then you add 4.5 quarts of new oil. When finished, you check all the fluids, belts, hoses, and air filter and find them to be in good condition. You reset the oil life monitor on the vehicle, clean your area, return tools to the proper location, and process the customer's invoice with notes from your inspection, tire rotation, and oil change. You then review all work and the invoice with the customer. You thank the customer for her business and provide her with a reminder sticker to return to the next scheduled maintenance date and mileage. Number 1. If you notice a worn belt or hose during the oil change, which type of technician would you have asked to look at the vehicle? Number 2. In your shop, who is responsible for keeping track of the work that is performed on the customer's vehicles? In the early 1900s, the advent of mass production made automobiles available to a wider community. Figure 1 and 2. Henry Ford applied two concepts that helped make the Model T affordable for the masses. The first was the concept of interchangeability, which meant parts did not have to be custom built to match a particular car. Each part was made to the same specification, so it would fit properly with its related parts. Those parts did not have to be produced where the vehicle was being assembled. They could be stockpiled, ready for later use. The second concept was the assembly line. Instead of the workers moving to the car as it was being assembled, the assembly line brought the car to the worker. This approach made assembly much more efficient, increasing the number of the vehicles that could be built in a shift and thereby lowering production costs. Developments over the ensuing years produced more powerful and reliable automobiles, and with the further development of larger, more reliable gasoline engines, they became the predominant mode of personal transportation. Vehicle manufacturing. Vehicle manufacturing developed from small independent makers in the late 1800s, which relied on the large amounts of labor and limited automation to the present methods, which use large-scale production lines and extensive automation. The globalization of the automobile industry has seen manufacturers sharing models and making vehicles that are sold across the world. Modern assembly lines require large-scale investment, so manufacturers must be sure that a new vehicle model will succeed in the market before they will invest billions of dollars in production line retooling. Figure 1.3. Today's vehicles are assembled on high-volume production lines, with robots used for many of the assembly processes, including the welding seams. Assemblers continue to work up and down the assembly line doing tasks that are still far too complicated for robotic assembly. Often, various parts of the vehicle are made by large-scale parts manufacturers who supply the parts to the specific vehicle manufacturer specification. Vehicle manufacturing is a high-volume business, so everything needs to work in the correct timing and sequence, from the supply of parts required to build a vehicle right down to the speed at which the production line runs Modern vehicle plants use sophisticated technology to mass produce a product that is high quality and affordable. Technology in vehicles. Technology in vehicles continues to adapt and change as new research and development reach the production line. The automobile sector is very competitive and has been influenced over the years by competition between manufacturers, consumer expectations for increased technology, and in more recent times, the need to reduce the impact on the environment. The modern vehicle contains complex electronic, and mechanical systems designed to improve efficiency, reduce emissions, and provide safety to vehicle passengers. The use of technology will continue to increase in the future as the automobile industry responds to the current pressure of climate change and the ever decreasing availability and increasing cost of crude oil-based products like oil, gas, and diesel.